Hello there everybody and welcome back to more Crash Bandicoot for the PS1. In this part, well, I finally recorded the footage. Took me a bit of a while to grab it and stuff, but it's finally here, and now we can just see the rest of the game. But because I'm like revisiting the levels, it's going to be mainly just like cutting to the chase, so I've cut out the deaths, but I've acknowledged that, you know, they weren't like smooth runs. They were like quite a bunch of deaths. I mean, Sunset Vista is not particularly the most smoothest of experiences when trying to get the bloody gem in this place, because this level drags on a hell of a lot. I mean, I think you saw it also last time I played through Sunset Vista. And when I streamed this back then, I think this was one of the levels that I had to replay the most next to the lab. It still makes no sense to me why the lab I done like first time. Or first try, should I say. It does not make any bloody sense for that side of things, but still. It's kind of nice though, because this means that all the footage for this game is all done now, so I can move on to the next project, whatever that may be. I still don't really know at the minute. I would rather be thinking about that also when Crash Bandicoot wraps up, in terms of it being, you know, uploaded and just finished. Overall, it doesn't matter that I've got all the footage and stuff. I mean, I suppose I could go on ahead and grab more, not more, shall I say, the new footage for the LP, but there's just no point. There's no point, because by the time I get to commentating about it, I might not care. So it's better to just, you know, see how it goes, if you will, for this. I made sure as well that my SCART cable was plugged right in, so hopefully the colors look super accurate, because honestly before it's just Crash Bandicoot looked really red. It's like, what? We're going back to the old days. It's almost as if like my old scaler has just come back anyway, where the colors don't look accurate. If the colors don't look accurate also, then what's the bloody point, you know? It's like, oh my goodness, I tell you. Oh, I've also been playing this game with the original Dogbone controller for the PS1. I mean, it's not officially called a Dogbone controller. I always call it that, but it's basically like the digital controller, I think it is, because the PS1 had like a digital controller where it just had the D-pad side of things. It was almost like grabbing a Super Nintendo controller, right? And then just had like these little grips also on the corners. But eventually they released an analog one and dual shock and what have you. Analog was particularly super useful for Ape Escape, because you were able to use the right analog stick to use to hit like the lightsaber and stuff. I imagine back then also that must have been quite something. But around the time where I properly got into gaming and stuff, you know, analog sticks were already a standard also in the gaming industry. But I imagine when it was new at the time, that must have been like pretty cool or so. Playing this game with a Dogbone controller doesn't particularly change anything. It's just, it makes it feel more authentic. Like I've said loads of times, I'm always after that authenticity and stuff, you know? Because, I mean, yes, it is easier to use an emulator and stuff. It's probably more convenient, more faster. It's got way more tools and things. But I'm like one of those people who likes to appreciate history, so I need to play it like on the original side of things to truly get the feel. Like, if all I have is a way to play it on an emulator or a compilation on, say, the Nintendo Switch or PS5 or something, then that will do as well, but preferably, if there's a way to play it the original way, that's my go-to. Like, to me, Sonic Adventure feels like a proper Dreamcast game, and even though you can play it on other systems, it's good, but it feels really, like, perfectly at home when you play it on the Dreamcast with the controller and the disk drive going haywire. Seriously, the Dreamcast is such a bloody loud system. Like, oh my goodness. That's kind of the charm to it, though. Even though, yes, the original hardware might sometimes be a bit slower, I do find that, you know, the sound of, like, the disk drive and the clicking and popping the cartridge in and stuff, it has that feel also that I feel... you can't really catch that also with emulation. Now, I'm not saying by fact, you know, original hardware is like the best. There is no the best, it's just personally what I prefer, you know. Some people don't give a shit. they just want to play the game on the most convenient thing available for them, you know. And there's nothing wrong with that, really. I just like sharing what I feel about it, you know? I also need to probably get a CRT or a BVM at this rate, really, because they're ideally the better way to play retro stuff because of like scan lines and what have you. Because I mean, the upscaler that I'm using, the RetroTint 5X, is fantastic. It's really good. I mean, it's not terrible. I like it a lot. But if you play it like on a CRT or a BVM, you know, you haven't got the weird black borders. Because I mean, a lot of the games were made in like a 4:3 aspect ratio, you know? So it eradicates that, and also, I don't know. It feels more right. But to tell you the truth, the upscaling of this is pretty ideal. Pretty ideal indeed. It's nice as well, I can just cut out all the crap or so for Sunset Vista, so I don't have to worry. It's just like, yeah, this is Sunset Vista, this is what you do in order to make it through it, you know? And yeah, that fucking happened, of course it bloody did, yeah. So, all I had to do was go to the right, just go to the right, you know, on the Dr. Neo Cortex round. Nothing to it, but no, for some bloody reason, my thumb slipped. So I was using the D-pad, right? Yeah, I think it's all like slipped or so by pressing upwards, which caused Crash to go out of alignment and then fall down. So that's a bit shit, but it is what it is. So that means that even though Sunset Vista will be done to 100%, I need to do it again in order to get the Cortex thingy-majiggy. But it's kind of not the end of the world, really, because the most hardest part of Sunset Vista is definitely getting all the boxes without dying. Whereas, at least if you die and you're collecting the Dr. Neo Cortex tokens, they still stay. I've said this before, but I still find it really bizarre how, like, the boxes reset, but the tokens and shit, no, they just stay with you. They got that down, but everything else, not so much. So it's just like, wait, what? Really? So bizarre, I tell you. It's nice that they reward you at the end of this level as well, like a bunch of Wumpa fruit for all those lives that just keep resetting every time I boot up the game. Like, as you can see there, I got like 16 lives. Oh, God. Those 99 lives are just completely obsolete. Such a pain in the ass. But anyway, yeah, that's Sunset Vista. Do what I did. that's my suggestion. If you want to get the gem or so for Sunset Vista, just do the same shit that I did. Just there, really, although it's not going to be easy or so. It's going to take a lot of attempts and a lot of deaths, I tell you. Goodness me. And a lot of panicking too. Because there's many moments where you're like, fuck, I don't want to screw up this damn jump. But the more you play it, the more you get used to it, then it gets better over time, doesn't it? So what I've done here to make things a bit easier is, we've already seen me go through like Sunset Vista, right? So after this little loading thing, I'm just going to cut straight to Dr. Neo Cortex's bonus round. Because, bugger it, you've already seen this shit, you know? At least the stuff before. And yeah, here's what you're supposed to do. Go to the fucking right. Don't go up and down, and I nearly fucked it up there as well. So it's just like, what? And yeah, at the end of it, you get a key. And I think it's probably on this one that I'll show what the keys do. There's like 2 keys. Yeah, just 2. just 2 random ass keys. There's no pattern to them or anything. They're just sort of, oh yeah, there's a key here, and there's a key in the other one. It's like, what? It's almost, it feels a bit rushed in that sort of sense or so. We don't need to fight Koala Kong again. And Heavy Machinery we already did last time. Some of them I did like 1 shot or so, you know, as you saw for the LP. And now we got this shit show. I do not like Cortex Power. Like, the lab is my least favourite level in the game. To, you know, get all the boxes and just play through the level in general. Cortex Power is a load of fucking bollocks. I honestly, I have no bloomin' strategy to this place at all. Do what I do. Just do what I do and then you'll make it. Because for some reason there's like this weird backtracky element to it. Getting all the boxes in this place is so bizarre. Like, there's so many multiple paths that you take. And it gets really bloody confusing. I did this. I had many deaths trying to get this and that, and I still can't tell you for the life of me what the hell I did. I was just like, just check every single room and be certain that that's every box at the very end, you know? And kind of hope to God that there's a certain part also where you can go back. I'll get to it when I get to it. That's not what I meant to say at all. What I meant to say was like, you know, I'll get to it when the footage shows. But yeah, just like, what? This bit as well is a load of weirdness, like, because you got all those things there that get in your way, and I have to make sure that the TNT blows up before I move forward, and that can get a little bit annoying because half the time I just want to hit a TNT and then just move on, but it's just like, oh, come on, man. I remember back in 2020 or so when I streamed this or so, I didn't particularly like this level. Like, oh my goodness, trying to go through it and stuff was a pain in the ass. Although the chat helped me out a lot trying to keep me sane when trying to do it. The same for like when I streamed it this year. It's just every time I get to Cortex Power, it's always just a bit of a dread. This is the part here. Look at this. You see this bloody like moving platform? Yeah, I've had a moment or so where like I've jumped on the thing and then the moving platform is not there. It's not there at all. So it's almost like a leap of faith whenever you get to that. But there's probably like an easier way around it. But I do not care about studying this goddamn level. Oh my goodness, I do not like Cortex Power, and I'm glad that they never really went back to this sort of design also in like Crash Bandicoot 2, 3 and onwards. I believe I was supposed to go forward. Oh wait, no I wasn't. See, even I don't know. And I'm literally just commentating over like this footage. It's honestly mad. I had a moment as well where like in between those two things up there, I just fell straight through and I had to redo the whole bloody level again. It was like, oh man. So this is the start of it, right? If we're going down to the left, that's where I went. Yeah, I've got to go back to the right now because I just wanted to come back on myself just to make sure that was every part of this level done. Yeah, like I say, you just want to fully double check everything in this sodding place just to make sure you got the fucking last couple of boxes. Because over here to the right, there's this part up here. These sections aren't too bad. It's quite an interesting thing to make it more memorable, but it's still a bit like, oh, come on, man. I mean, I suppose I could easily cut back to where I was at this point, but the level doesn't take too long to get through if you're literally just, like, going through it. I mean, that's why when we got to this place the first time, I was just, like, breezing through, and I was just like, yeah, we'll come back to this a bit later or so and show you how it's done. Not to mention as well that if you saw earlier, there was a blue gem also. Yeah, you need the blue gem in order to get all the fucking boxes. So if you don't have it, you can't do it. Imagine like doing that, just like trying to properly find all this crap and then finding that, oh wait, hang on, no, there's no bloody blue gem or so that I have in order to do it. Although there is a slight hint because you do see some sort of like smaller version of the blue gem to tell you that, maybe you need a color gem in order to get through this. But the exclamation mark box that I hit back in the other bit, yeah, that was to activate. If you saw last time, there was all just this mysteriously missing. And this time, yeah, we can break it. In the most strangest way possible. Seriously, what the hell was that about? I think I panicked. You know, you have that sort of feeling where it's like, right, cool, just these couple of boxes. I just gotta go over this bottomless pit. No pressure, it's all good. And then as soon as you start, you're like, fuck. You just lose control. And yeah, that's essentially what happened also on that. But I panicked. Either that or maybe my thumb slipped again on the D-pad. Some shit happened, I don't know, but at least I made it. And then that puts up to 90%, doesn't it? Yeah, 90% complete, so that's all good. And I believe after that, I realized that I was supposed to go back to get something because I have the keys. Now, the keys unlock parts of the map. And if I go back also in a second, you'll see what I mean. I think that was my moment where I was like, oh shit. So then I had to go back. Alright, so going back to Boulder Dash, as you see there's a key on there. You go up, gives you access to a new level, which is Whole Hog. Whole Hog is one of the other hog levels, if you will, where it's like an on-rails type of thing. Whole Hog is a bit buggy. I do find it a little bit buggy of a level. Like, there are many times where when I'm playing through it and I want to hit all the boxes, and I just can't, because for some reason the collision detection on this flaming hog isn't the best. Like, particularly this part here, right? So you go left, right, left, right, left. It's very specific. I had to really get like the timing down on that one, because after a couple of attempts it wasn't doing it. The same thing happened to me when I streamed this or so in the beginning of 2024. I do prefer like the other hog levels. Also with this thing, as whole hogs, just it's a little bit strange in places, you know? It's like one little fuck up and then that's it, really. But it's not the worst thing ever. Like the level bit isn't particularly too long. Like, in fact, I think, yeah, right here, that is literally just it. But honestly, trying to 100% that can be a bit of a pain in the arse, I tell you. Still, that is, yeah, I think that's the gems for this one. That marks it to 91%. And there's only like 2 parts to all this footage, so that means the next part of this will be the actual finale to Crash Bandicoot. As, honestly, the rest of it didn't particularly take that long, really. So I guess I'll see you in the finale of this LP.